What's going on, everybody? It's me, the TheT-SaneOtaku here, and I'm here for the last deck profile of what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of running out of time, so this one might be a little quick. Like I said, in Great Nature, of course, you can always run Seabreeze and other cards instead. This isn't fulfilled yet. As you can also see, we do run Stark in this one. I will have Stark in my possession, so it's not that big of a deal. For you guys, Stark might be hard to come by, so take it with a grain of salt. I will go and talk about stuff when I get there, though. So this is D-Robos. So, of course, the starter is Diehawk. This thing's super good. It makes us going first really scary. Yeah, it's Diehawk. There's not really much to say. Striding when your opponent's grade 2 without Seabreeze, really good. Next up, we're going to go into the main thing of the deck. You'll see by the title, I might not have said it, but this is Dainexus, so our main grade 3 is Dainexus. This deck became a tank ever since the new stuff came out. He's also a Gurgwit lookalike. It just really, his on-stride ability makes it to where you can run burst, strides. His GB1 is really what's important, though. It's not like in the old build, you really didn't do anything when you had a grade 3. With him, you just mostly use him for the GB1, which is really nice, because it makes you super tanky, and it makes it to where when you mess up your grade ratios, you don't really get punished by it. So, that's why I love this deck. This deck's just really nice. Also, I came into this game a little bit later, so I never got on the I love Diecrusher, Diecrusher hype train. I love them for cards. They look sexy, but I don't like them that much. Like, I never was in the hype train for them, so I'm really hyped for Dainexus, though. So we run one copy of the Diecrusher grade 3. Mostly every grade 3 from here on out is just for having them as a grade 3. You could run this as Diecrusher instead. I just kind of like him for the ability that if I do run into a 7 Seas rush, I can go and still have triple drive. That's mostly it. I'm thinking about running him for the Diecrusher reverse instead, as you can see behind him. Dang it, it's too much work. Behind him actually is Diecrusher reverse, so I could run that. I could run the Break Ride Diecrusher. It just really depends on how things roll. Just really doesn't matter, though. And then this card, I know a lot of people are running. I mean, I don't really like Legion as a mechanic. I find it really really clunky. Back in the day, I bet it was like super broken. Like, yet again, I wasn't in the Legion days. This is just really good, just because if you do run into the point where you do Legion, you can Legion and have, of course, your mate here, and use either of these to go into Stark. That's the really good thing about this. But the Legion also helps if you're trying to go through Guardians really fast. There's really not much to say. If you ride this card, you're probably going to want a Legion, but I've never had a Legion before. I have ridden into this card before, but I never Legioned with it. I just kept it on my Vanguard and just played the game like you normally would with the old Break Ride Diecrusher. So that's that. We're going to on triggers. Oh, crap. Got messed up. So we run 6, 7, 8. What? No, I run 8. What am I saying? We run 8 crit. We run 4 of the sexy promo and 4 of die battles. So die battles is a crit with a skill, so of course you're going to run it. It also helps you go and gain burst numbers. We mostly run 8 crit for presence. I want to run 6 crit and then run more of another, which we're going to get to, which is a stand trigger. The only problem is that with stand triggers, we don't have any D-Robo stands aside from the new one we got. So I don't want to make my Die-Bird clunky, and so I just run this for now, just to go and do that. Running the stands, running 8 crit, though, isn't that bad. I haven't found any problems with it yet. But then again, I've only been playing this deck for about a couple weeks now, so I don't have enough experience to say that, you know, it's not clunky. Like I said before, we play 4 of the new stand. Really good card, gets you 4K. It tops you off for the burst strides. Just a really good card. Also draws you a card. Mostly standing, though, for the die bird is really good. We're on 4 heal. It's the countercharge soul charge heal. Like in Claret Sword, this deck doesn't have... Well, this deck does have ways to countercharge, just not many at all, because Bushiroad didn't give us the nice die bazooka. This is one of your ways to countercharge. So you countercharge with this. It's really good. Pretty generic, you know. If I'm going too fast, I really apologize, but I am really pressed for time here. This is not Die Cutter. This is supposed to be Die Falcon. I printed the wrong proxy, but that's okay. So, from Different Fight is where I'm getting most of my numbers from. This is a really good card because it just helps you go and get grade 3s into the drop zone. But the problem with this card, and it might turn into Die Cutter, is the fact that I've never hit it. I've placed this down. I've played this deck for, like, in this style with Die Falcon for about a week now. I have not hit the Die Falcon yet once. So, I don't know if that's just, you know, maybe just bad luck, but I've yet to hit this thing off, so I don't know how well it is with the plus 4K in the draw yet. So I'm going to have to play some more games. But if I don't like it, I will be switching it out for Die Cutter. Because Die Cutter has some nice presence, and soul charging is nice. We run 3 stride support, mostly for the plus 4K that she gives and more soul. So you can soul charge the die battles and give 4K. You also want to run her for soul, not for soul, for striding. Just because of the fact that you kind of want to call your grade 3s. You don't want to use them as much. But it's like big bellies in this case, where you don't really want to use them for stride, but it's okay to use them for stride as well. This card's just really nice. It's stride support. Your grade 1 lineup isn't that tight, too, so running stride supports aren't not that bad. And then, around 4 of the new PG, don't look at this guy. This is just the one I had. I did not get the proxy for this because I was kind of dumb. I forgot about it, but this is the new one. It's the on-placement one to give power to your Vanguard for each card in soul. Really good just because of the fact that if you have a low hand size, you can literally just call this to the Guardian Circle, and it does stuff. It's Purple Guard 2. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we have 2 copies of our boy Laurel. Laurel you don't really use too much in the deck, but when you do use him, it's usually pretty good. He makes your first stride deadly. He makes later strides deadly. It's just a really good card. I can't run it any higher than 2 because I don't want to see it when I go into Diebird. And just running non-D-Robos can get a little bit on the sketchier side. Also, you don't run this card too much because you like having your rear guards as well to swing. So, it's really good though. So, and also, this is cheap. I only have 2 of this, so shh. I can't run it up anymore even if I wanted to. But 2, I found 2 was actually the good sweet spot. Next up, we have 4 of the best grade 2 in the deck. This thing is so good. So, Dipole is, of course, a 10k base with the reveal cost. Its other good thing is the giving 5k. I call this thing into the back row so often to have my grade 3s as 16s. I can usually get 2 of these behind. So I have 1 behind my Vanguard, 1 behind a 16k. And then I have a grade 3 here and a grade 3 here. Both having intercept as well as being plus 10k for free. So they're literally 21, 21. And then these guys are just sitting in the back, basically being boosters. And you can even have a card over here and go and give it more power and stuff like that. It's just really good card. At first I thought it was kind of meh, but then I played with it, and oh my god, this thing's really good. It's just really, there's not much to say. It's pretty good. Next up, we run 2 copies of the new Diecrusher. I see a lot of people running this as a 4 of. The reason why I don't run it as a 4 of is mostly because of the fact that I didn't print 4 of it. But the second reason why is because his really appealing part is the plus 10k on drive checking grade 3s. But when you go into Diebird, you can actually mill your deck of every grade 3 you have left in the deck. So his other ability might not even work anymore. And then his first ability just soul charges you more cards, which is nice and appealing. And getting plus 2k to make you hit magic numbers is really nice. So that's mostly why you run him. But instead of running him, I actually kind of have 2 copies of the old Resin. He fulfills the gap that this card doesn't, and that is having, even if you misride, you can become magic numbers, so this helps you if you misride. And then you have your continuous, you gain power for each face-up card in your G-Zone with D-Robo. This thing kind of just helps you if you have, if you don't have a grade 3 on the board, and if you don't have these, then even if you do have these, you can get these up to like, 5 face-up cards in the G-Zone, get the plus 10k continuously any way you look at it during your turn. So then you don't have to wait for the grade 3. But yet again, like I said, it's kind of clunky, but it's not what you can do. And then we have like, I don't really like this card that much, but it does come in handy sometimes. I run 2 copies of Die Burst. As you can see behind him, that is Diejet. I don't know which one I run yet. I kind of like having it to where all of my grade 2s are free. So I don't know if I want to flip it back yet because Counterblast in the deck is tight. So I might just keep this card as there. It's really nice early game when you can go and just swing. I don't like to use it that early game because you need 2 Counterblasts to get your Die Earth off. And your opponent sometimes does like to Counterblast cuck you so you don't go and get your 2. But, there's not much you can do. And then we go into the G-Zone. First off, we're going to go into the 3 ones that you can go and mess with. So, in these 3, you run 2. You can run one of these. You can either run these 2, 2 of this, 2 of this, 2 of this. These are the variables. I don't know which one I want to run yet, though. I'm really feeling like I'm probably going to stick with these 2. But for budget builders, you might want to go with these 2. Or you might want to go with these 2 if you don't get to GB8 that often because you are in a very, very, very rush environment. It just really depends on how you go through the deck. Like I always said, Seabreeze and Blizza are also options, so technically you have more. You really shouldn't be running Seabreeze in this deck because you have Diehawk, but there's always chances that any of these cards work well. This card works against like really noobs. I've had it to where the noob didn't think that if I hit with this card, that at the second swing he would just guard it and it'd be a good day. And when you go, you might be able to go into this thing first stride, right, if you pay normally. And when you swing, they want to take damage, so they might just take this, and then it restands, and then they'll just guard the second one. But it just makes it really conflicting, so whichever one you want to run is your call, but those are the variables. I might go really fast from here on out, though, because I'm kind of really running right out of time. So we have this guy. He is our restanding Vanguard. This is the new Gallop. He's really good because you don't need to go and beef up your guy that much. His GB3s will pushes you along. Basically, you just go into this thing like third stride if you G-guard and stuff like that because you can get 5 face-up cards in the G-Zone really easily. So you can get your, 76k and then 4k can push you to 80. Or you can go and just wait till you have 6 face-up in the G-Zone and then just go into this. This is just that really good finisher. Also with Laurel in the back, when you swing with this, you can get the quad drive, and then you can restand him off of Laurel and still have quad drive and swing again. So that's why he's really scary. Aside from that, he's also helps budget builders because I think that this is going to be cheaper than buying another set of this guy. So it just really helps out. Also, it's a good card. Depends. I don't know how much he's going to go for now, but we'll have to find out. Next up, like you guys saw, we have 2 copies of the Finisher. I've actually yet to go into this card that much. I think I've gone into him once, maybe. He's just really good. You might be able to go into him first stride off of Diebird to get 10k. It's something. It's better than nothing. He is free, which makes it really nice in the later game when you have 0 counterblast, or if you have like 1 or 2. You can make him really beefy off of your on-stride ability, him, and having where he might have like plus, let's see, that's 15. So you can probably go and have it to where you have an 11k base and then gain like 42k. And you just keep on going and having crits and everything can stand and it's just really, really scary. Next up, we run 2 copies of the best first stride. This is our one we always want to go into. We don't always go into it, though. There might be some times when you can't. But it's just the Counterblast 2 call board. It kind of just refunds Diehawk. Most of us that have played it before kind of know, so it's kind of self-explanatory. Because this is Dainexus, we run 4 copies of the good old card. Because we do run the old Legion, you might take 2 of these out for Leon, but I don't have Leon, and so this is the cheaper option for me. It's really good. It makes it to where continuously, anytime a unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, you can Soul Blast 1 to check the top 3. I'll put different fights video in the description because he explains why this card's really good, and I don't have the time to explain why. So look at him, high different fight. You got some views off of this, but it's really good. It basically gets you more Guardians in hand to go and guard with, and then you mill your deck out for triggers. Kind of what you do in Claret Sword, except it's really good. And then for G Guardians, we run 1 Go 5, 1 of this, 1 of this, and I have to run 2 of this. I might even take out the X Caribou for the second one of this. I don't know yet. Numbers, of course, are able to be shuffled. You need to run at least 1 Atlantis Dolphin. 2 is recommended because this and our heal trigger are the only ways to countercharge in this deck, and that's really important. This guy is mostly here to go and help us out with the rush matchups where we might be able to get that 5k, and it helps us in the long run. Go 5 is that big shield that we always like to have. And also, Atlantis Dolphin's a really good target because he has big shields if it's Vanguard on Vanguard. So that's going to be the deck profile. As like I said, I was rushing really hard because I don't have much time. I really got to pack up and go. So I'll see you guys all in the next one. See you guys.